The night was quiet, the kind of quiet that made the world feel small. The highway stretched empty beneath a sky dipped in midnight, and Marcus Reed welcomed the rare stillness. No security convoy. No flashing credentials. No high-level briefings. Just a black man in a plain black sedan, wearing an old baseball cap and a worn jacket, enjoying the kind of freedom most people never thought the director of the FBI even wanted. For once, Marcus felt normal. But normal didn't last. Blue and red lights exploded behind him. Marcus sighed. "Not tonight," he whispered, pulling to the shoulder. Two officers approached, heavy steps, heavier attitudes. The first one tapped the roof, leaned in with a smirk twisting his mouth. "License and registration, boy." Marcus kept calm, handing over his wallet. Before the officer even looked, he tossed it back like trash. "Fake badge. You one of those wannabes? Think you somebody? I can smell a liar a mile away." The second officer laughed. "Probably ordered it off eBay. Look at him, thinking he's important." Marcus's jaw flexed, but his voice stayed even. "Officers, that badge is real. My name is Marcus Reed. And you're making a serious mistake." The first officer snorted. "Oh, you the FBI director now?" "Sure. And I'm the King of England. Step out of the car before you really piss me off." Marcus stepped out, hands raised, not out of fear, but out of understanding. He knew exactly what power in the wrong hands could do. They shoved him against the car, rough hands searching him, mocking him, laughing like cruelty was a sport. One officer dangled Marcus's badge. "Cheap plastic. This guy's a joke." Traffic slowed. Phones came out. People recorded, but the officers didn't care. Maybe they thought no one would believe a black man over a badge. Maybe they thought their power was absolute. Then backup arrived. For a traffic stop. Minutes later, Marcus was in cuffs, shoved in the back of a cruiser while the officers bragged. Got another wannabe off the street. At the precinct, the humiliation didn't stop. Fingerprinting. Shoving. Mocking. FBI. Maybe in your dreams. This clown couldn't run a lemonade stand. Marcus finally said, "Call your captain. He knows me." They laughed harder. Thrown into a holding cell, Marcus sat quietly. Another detainee whispered, "Bro, they don't know who you are, do they?" Marcus gave a faint smile. "Not yet." 2 hours later, the precinct doors burst open. A swarm of federal agents stormed in, badges gleaming. The lead agent shouted, "Where is Director Reed?" Everything froze. The captain stumbled out, confused and pale. "D. Director Reed? H here." "That's impossible." The federal agents pushed past him, unlocked the cell, and escorted Marcus out with respect. "Sir, are you injured? We came the moment your tracker alerted." Silence suffocated the room. Officers' faces collapsed into shock, regret, and fear. The same man they mocked now stood tall as the most powerful law enforcement figure in the country. Marcus didn't say a word. His silence judged them better than speeches ever could. Outside, cameras exploded with light. Reporters screamed questions as Marcus stepped to the mic. "Tonight," he said, "I was pulled over not as the FBI director, but as a black man in America. And what happened to me happens to those without power every day. That ends now." Cheers erupted. Headlines exploded nationwide. The officers' careers collapsed overnight. Justice, for once, felt real. But the world had claws. That night, back home, Marcus felt something dark watching him. His phone buzzed. A message appeared, no name, no number. "You embarrassed us, Director. You made enemies far above your rank." Attached was a photo. His daughter. Leaving school. taken minutes ago. Marcus froze. His throat tightened. His world cracked. And as he whispered, "God, what have I started?" another message appeared instantly. Marcus Reed stood frozen as the image of his daughter burned into his vision. Maya, blindfolded, terrified, her school clothes wrinkled from the struggle. His breath stilled, turning into something sharp and dangerous. The director of the FBI slipped away. The father took over. Within minutes, the safe house lights blazed on. Agents rushed in, weapons ready, screens flashing. Marcus stepped into the command room, voice low and deadly. "Trace the signal. Find the location. Now." No hesitation. His entire team, people who had seen him calm in war zones, steady in crises, had never witnessed him like this. There was no fear in his eyes. Just a cold promise. "They took my child," he said. "Bring them the storm." A tech analyst looked up, pale. "Sir, this isn't a kidnapping cartel. It's political. The same syndicate tied to the corrupt officers. They planned this months in advance." Marcus nodded once. "Then tonight ends all of them." A ping hit the screen. A warehouse. 30 minutes outside the city. Marcus grabbed his holster. "Director, protocol says." He cut her off. "Protocol didn't protect my daughter." Within minutes, black SUVs roared down the dark highway. Helicopters thundered overhead. Marcus stood in the lead vehicle, armored vest on, jaw locked. But deep down, something twisted inside him. Fear. Not for himself. For Maya. As they approached the warehouse, agents took positions. The structure gleamed under moonlight, too quiet, too still. Marcus stepped forward alone. A single spotlight snapped on. Maya sat tied to a chair in the center of the concrete floor, blindfolded and crying softly. But the moment Marcus moved, a voice echoed from above. "Director Reed, so predictable." Senator Crawford emerged from the shadows, flanked by armed men in tactical gear. His smug smile glowed like poison. "You really thought you could expose us? You? A man who can't even walk the streets without being mistaken for a criminal." Marcus's fists tightened, but his voice stayed cold. "Let my daughter go." Crawford laughed. "Oh, she isn't the target. She's the message." And then, gunfire ripped through the air. Agents stormed in, breaching every entrance. Crawford's men opened fire. Chaos erupted, bullets, shouts, sparks, smoke. Marcus ran forward, sliding across the floor, shielding Maya with his body as agents took down the guards around them. He removed her blindfold. "Daddy. I was so scared. I'm here, baby. I'm here." He lifted her into his arms, shielding her as the final shots rang out. Minutes later, the warehouse fell silent. Crawford tried to escape through the service exit, but Marcus caught him, tackling him to the ground. The senator clawed, screamed, threatened. "You think this changes anything? I have allies. Power. You're nothing without that badge." Marcus leaned close, eyes burning. "This badge didn't make me. My integrity did. And tonight, that destroys you." Agents dragged Crawford away as he shouted curses into the night. By dawn, the syndicate collapsed. Judges. Senators. Police commanders. All arrested. All exposed. The largest corruption ring in 2 decades dismantled in one night. Marcus stood before the cameras again, Maya holding his hand. His voice was steady. "Last night, my family was targeted for speaking the truth. But justice is not quiet. Justice does not shrink. Justice does not bend to threats. Today, we closed a chapter of corruption, and opened a new era of accountability. For every person who has ever been silenced, overlooked, or underestimated, this victory is yours. Cheers erupted across the nation. It was over. Finally, over. But as Marcus walked Maya to their SUV, a black envelope sat on the dashboard. He frowned, opening it. Inside was a small device. A recorder. He pressed play. A distorted voice whispered, "You may have taken down the pawns, but the king is still on the board. And he knows your name." Marcus looked up at the dark horizon, gripping the device so hard it cracked. The war wasn't over. But the world knew one thing now. If they wanted a fight, they had chosen the wrong man.